just taking it one day at a time. I do want to say this. I am entitled to a due process like everyone else. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. Here in D.C., we are concerned about President Trump becoming president and what that can mean for D.C. I'm a Democrat, but I have nothing against the incoming President Trump. But I want to say this. As a citizen, I would expect the council to give me the same, and the people of Ward 8, the same justice that we allow the federal government to give us.
This is hilarious in a really sad, ridiculous way. Trayon White, the DC council member who was arrested on bribery charges, somehow manages to get reelected. Yeah, you definitely heard that right. Before he could even celebrate though, the council is gunning to kick him out. So let's get into it.
I know the council has to make a decision, but I do also want to say that just last month, over 20,000 people in Ward 8 decided that they wanted me to be their council member. So we're sticking to that. We want the council to do what's in their rights to do. We accept that. We want to continue to stay unified as a community, as a city. But I know the council has a job to do.
A couple of weeks ago, I made a video about his arrest and bribery allegations, and honestly, things have only gotten more ridiculous since then.
These images of White, filed with the criminal complaint, are alleged to have been secretly recorded by a person who owned 2 companies contracted to provide millions in violent intervention services,
which show council member Trayon White allegedly accepting envelopes with cash inside, anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000.
The FBI alleged he accepted over $150,000 in bribes to influence city contracts. White pleaded not guilty, maintaining his innocence amid all of these accusations. So let's fast forward to last month, November 2024. Despite the legal storms that went overhead and all the nonsense he was going through, White not only remained on the ballot, but secured re-election to represent Ward 8.
Also excited, man, that the people of Ward 8 came out in the tens of thousands to vote and support me. You know, I'm going through a lot of controversy, but the people have spoken. Over 17,000 people counted already in support of my leadership here in the ward. I just want to send a message loud and clear to DC Council and the naysayers that we're here to stay.
His victory was decisive, leaving a lot of people like myself scratching our heads, and even the opponents probably questioning what the hell is going on in Ward 8? Why did the voters elect him again? Do they truly believe he's innocent, or are they just simply ignoring the evidence? Let's not forget, this guy was hit by the feds, not a random smear campaign, but federal bribery charges. Again, involving over $150,000. Investigators have reportedly documented payments made to White in exchange for influencing city contracts, all neatly compiled with witness statements and financial records. So what's the logic here? Do his supporters think that he got set up? Are they dismissing the evidence outright? Perhaps some Ward 8 voters felt his community ties outweighed the allegations, or maybe they're just betting on his claims of innocence. Whatever the reason, it's a risky gamble when you consider the amount of evidence stacked against him. And trust me, it's a lot. Again, the feds just don't come around knocking unless they have receipts, witness statements, bank records. Let's not forget they got text messages where Trayon supposedly discussed these arrangements.
The FBI lays out a series of conversations a cooperating witness recorded having with the Ward 8 council member since June. Prosecutors say all of the conversations were recorded in a car, wired for video and sound. According to the documents, in one conversation with what the FBI calls a confidential human source, the source handed White an envelope with $5,000.
Imagine texting somebody, "Hey, here's that bribe you wanted," and thinking that's not going to come back to bite you. The prosecution even claims they have him on audio recordings, sweet talking his way into these deals. So what is the defense here? Did someone hack his phone? Someone cloned him? Did the bank accidentally process random bribes under his name? Unless his supporters think the FBI is running some grand conspiracy, it's hard to understand how anyone can dismiss the mountain of evidence, and yet here we are watching the circus show. It's really fascinating to look into the psychology of loyalty. Why do some people stand by their favorite politician, influencer, or celebrity, even when the evidence against them is piled high enough to cast a damn shadow? For many, it's less about the facts and more about identity. Supporting Trayon White isn't just a political choice, it's like a personal statement. Basically like a badge of honor that says, this is my guy and I'm gonna stick with him. It's like rooting for your hometown team even if they're having a losing season for the past decade. Giants. But the difference between sports and real life is when these politicians are taking advantage of you, they're affecting everybody. The feds can wheel out a PowerPoint presentation complete with pie charts and 4K video evidence, and some folks will still say, nah, they're just out to get them.
The FBI in its complaint states White agreed to accept $156,000 in undisclosed kickbacks and agreed to 3% payment of contract values, $35,000 in cash payments.
One ANC commissioner in Ward 8 tells News 4 she doesn't believe White would do those things.
Well, I honestly and truly believe that he was set up, and it's a shame. But I hope and pray that he come out of this victoriously.
He was doing so well, and everything. I was just talking to my daughter about him a couple of days ago, about, the works, that he's been doing.
This kind of loyalty is deep-rooted in some cognitive dissonance, where people ignore or rationalize conflicting information to protect their beliefs. It's also fueled by a mistrust of institutions. If you already think the system is rigged, why believe its allegations? But let's get into currently of December 2024, what happened a couple days ago. A committee of the DC Council unanimously recommended White's expulsion.
The DC Council's ad hoc committee has released its report.
They ordered an investigation into their colleague after he was arrested and charged earlier this year for bribery. Well, now that the investigation is complete.
DC Council member Trayon White, he's now facing the real possibility of being kicked off the council by his colleagues.
The council voted unanimously today to recommend a full vote to expel White.
It's certainly not good news for him. It really appears that the full council is now prepared to vote Councilmember White off of the council. White sat in the front row of the audience today watching as his colleagues discussed his fate. An independent investigation authorized by the council concluded White did violate the law and council code. Today, White sat in the front row watching as one by one each of his council colleagues said the council should vote to expel him.
To recommend to the council that Mr. Trayon White be expelled from the council pursuant to the council's rules.
It is therefore with a heavy heart that I conclude, as the chairman has, that we have no choice but to vote to expel Councilmember Trayon White from the Council of the District of Columbia.
Their investigation found substantial evidence that Trayon White violated the DC Code of Conduct. And by substantial, that means absolutely damning. Council Chairman Phil Mendelssohn didn't mince words by saying anything less than expulsion will not rectify the situation. Bribes for contracts, shady deals exposed through wiretaps, and text messages that sound like it was written by someone trying to commit crimes. White is walking into this courtroom with so much receipts. It's like he's handed the feds his own signed confession and gift wrap. Trayon White is screwed. Kicking a council member isn't as simple as just a committee vote. It requires a super majority, 11 out of 13 council members, to make it official. The hearing is set next year, January 28th, 2025, where White can present his defense. If the council proceeds with this expulsion, it will be a historic first for DC politics. Now, the problem is the response publicly is still a mixed bag. Some Ward 8 residents stand firmly behind White, citing his track record and his community ties. Others feel betrayed, viewing the allegations as a severe breach of public trust. Supporters argue that the expulsion would undermine the democratic choice for the voters, while critics insist it's a necessary step to maintain governmental integrity, whatever that means. Trayon White remains defiant. He's clinging to the narrative that he is a victim of some rushed judgment. He's questioning the evidence against him. So we'll see what happens next month as we gear up to the next chapter in this nonsense, this saga. One thing remains certain: DC politics is just more of the same. More nonsense, more chaos. Whether White goes in a blaze of defiance and manages to cling on to the seat, the residents of Ward 8 are left wondering if their votes brought them a leader or just front row tickets to see another political train wreck. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.